So hello everybody and welcome back to Jenny all the way from the US of A.
Hello Rachel and anybody who's listening live or on catch up. It's fabulous to be back, and what better time to land than in the sunshine. So I left sunshine and came back to sunshine, which is marvellous. So that was lovely.
Very good. Well, it's very good to have you back in the United Kingdom, and I'm very excited that I actually get to see you face to face tomorrow, which is fabulous. And for those who watch regularly, yes, we are going to, for full transparency, we are recording this ready for release on the 14th, because we're both going to be at the same fabulous meeting of the Fab Network. So we can't do our show live. However, in the interests of authenticity, we are still recording it very much live at the time and not editing it and giving it you warts and all, as we always do. So hopefully you'll get the same effect as you do normally. So here we go. So you'll be watching this on the 14th, hopefully, all being well. And we'll be at a wonderful networking meeting, having lots and lots of fun and laughs. So I guess we should dive straight in. I'm going to go with a question first that's very topical for me at the moment, because it's something that my daughter and I are both doing. So the question is, journaling, yes or no, and why?
Yes. I love journaling. Why? Well, probably about 5 reasons, but I'll stick to 2.
Yeah.
So the first reason is because there are so many fabulous journal notebooky type things out there, and I'm a real stationery lover. So I love nothing more than a beautiful book to write in.
Yes.
And the variety of them are great. So you can have them with prompts in, you can have them without prompts in, you can do all sorts of things with them. So I love the infinite variety and the possibilities they offer is the first reason. And the second reason is that what I have learnt by journaling, and sometimes I do it for months and months on end on a regular basis, and then sometimes I don't do it for a bit and then I come back to it. But what I've learned is that it's a real joy,
yes,
just to not think about it and just to write, and also that the freedom, that it's almost giving yourself permission, isn't it? The freedom of that writing means that actually I'm always really surprised at how much I really love what I write, because I don't think about it, I just write. I always write in pencil.
Okay, interesting.
I've got a special journal pencil that I write with.
Okay.
And again, I think that's because it's soft.
Yeah.
An HB pencil, and I can just write. So it's the freedom and the possibility and the joy that I get from journaling that I love.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I think we're on the same page. No surprise there, Jenny. We're always on the same page. Well, pardon the pun as well, of course, with journals. Like you, I when I'm doing journaling, it can't just be the bog standard journalist's notepad. It needs to be a nice little book or pad that's got something on it or something nice about it, tactile or nice to look at or whatever it might be. But I think for me, it's that real honesty that you get with it, and it's all those thoughts that you've got messing around, jumbling up your brain. It can help to clear them and give you a bit of clarity, a bit of reflection time of, okay, I feel that way. Why do I feel that way? What's led to that? What can I do about that? It's a great way for finding solutions for yourself, I think, for anything that's going on. But it's that great first step of the honesty, being honest with yourself about what's going on, and therefore being able to do something that's actually the right thing for you at the time. But yeah, honesty is the big one for me.
And sometimes you don't know what you think, do you? Until you've written it, and then when you read it back, you think, oh, That's why. And all of a sudden things kind of fall into place, don't they? That you didn't necessarily and I've certainly been in a situation where I have I've been struggling with a kind of bit of a dilemma, and just writing it down, as you say, brings it and gets it out of it. If you're feeling a bit stuck, it's really great to kind of unjumble it, and writing it fast. And I think sometimes people think that journaling has to take a long time. I sometimes give myself all you can eat, all you can write, all you can write in 5 minutes. You'd be amazed how, and because you've only got 5 minutes, you don't overthink it, you just write it all down, and it's amazing how much you can get done in 5 minutes. So it doesn't have to be this. I don't sit at a desk for hours journaling.
No, and that's I think that's important for people to understand. For anyone watching that hasn't tried it before, it doesn't need to be all consuming. You're not writing a novel. It's just, once you get into that habit, even if it is just 5 minutes at a time, it's amazing how easily it starts to flow once you start, I think. Fabulous. Right, well, what's your first question for me?
Well, mine is, you can either take this literally or metaphorically, I think. I just realised as we were. My question was, do you prefer sunshine or shade?
Oh, okay. I'm just going to type that in so that it comes on to the screen. Technology. Here we go. There it is. Do you prefer sunshine or shade? Oh, that's a tough question. I think I will come down on the side of sunshine, because sunshine just makes you smile. It's happy, it's bright, it's vitamin D on the skin, and the best way to get that vitamin D is by the sun. And I do like a tan. It's quite nice if you're feeling a bit bronzed. But the shade is also very important, because I mean, this weather that we're having at the moment, crikey, sometimes you just need that bit of respite, don't you? But I would always want to be able to be out in the sun. I like the sun. I saw a friend recently who's going through skin cancer, fairly minor, so she's fine. However, she's now got to be super, like even more careful than she's ever been before in the sun. And that made me feel just a little bit sad, because the sun, it gives things life. It's a really important part of everything, of nature, of everything about the human race. So I did feel it was a shame for her and many others who have to be uber careful in the sun. So sun, I think, is the clear answer there.
And I think you make a really good point. Obviously, having been in the sun for the last 2 weeks, in between, it's hurricane season in Florida at the moment. In between storms, it hasn't. It's this fabulous thing where you can be sitting in the sun, the clouds come over, it rains like mad, thunder, lightning, and then half an hour later, it's brilliant sunshine again, and you think, did I dream that thunderstorm? But I think the thing is about protection. So I use SPF 50, factor 50, all the time. I don't use anything less anymore to protect my skin. And I think lots of people think that, if you use, factor 50, you won't get brown. I think you do. Well, I know you do, because I am. But no burning, and I think that caring, so that, as with anything, isn't it, it's balance.
Yes.
So it's lovely to be able to sit in the shade, but it's also nice to be out in the sunshine. So it's that the balance of both. But there is something very special, isn't there, about the sun rising and the sun setting, and watching the colours.
Sunrises and sunsets, yes, beautiful. If I ever lost my sight, that would probably be one of the things I'd miss the most. Beautiful sunrises and sunsets.
That was kind of topical, because it was so
Yes.
And I think also our houses aren't always designed, are they, for hot weather? So people get hot and bothered because we're carpeted and curtains.
Yes.
And whereas obviously in other countries where they are more used to prolonged sunshine,
yes,
the house is very different. A bit of air conditioning. Ted Lasso said about living in England. The lovely Ted Lasso. If you haven't watched that series,
I haven't watched it. I guess I must add it to my list then.
You must. It's absolutely the most. If ever you're feeling a bit shady, feeling a bit down, Ted Lasso will bring you joy. It's just the most fabulous. But he says about his time in England, he said he's learned that air conditioning is a privilege, not a right.
Yeah, sounds about right. Fantastic. Okay. So moving on to the next question then. What would your death row last supper be?
Oh, what would my death row last supper be? It would be shrimp, prawns, king prawns, or lobster, with new potatoes and salad.
Oh, nice, very healthy.
But I just love freshly cooked seafood, and for pudding, I just again it's that thing about fruit in season,
Yes.
And the English strawberries are just coming into season, aren't they?
Yes.
And they just taste just divine. They're just wonderful.
The taste of sunshine.
Yes. And the same with peaches. So peaches were just coming into Florida, and you can taste the sunshine.
Yeah.
So some obviously, I guess it would depend on the time of year. I was on death row dinner.
True.
But yeah, it's fruit in season because it's just the joy. Really simple. But that I love eating food in season. So I know you can get strawberries all the year round, but they don't taste like strawberries all the year round. They taste like strawberries in June and July.
Yes.
So I think that's really difficult to choose because I really enjoy food, and there's fabulous food. It's just a joy, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny what you said about it would depend which season which time of year you were on death row, because my go-to foods for it would be more of a winter menu. And I love summer fresh food, but my choices for a death row supper would be a roast dinner with honey roast parsnips. That's the key ingredient, honey roast parsnips. And the pudding would be crumble and custard.
I know that. My youngest son had crumble and custard as his roast dinner for his wedding breakfast. Beautiful roast beef dinner with all the trimmings, including roast parsnips, and crumble and apple crumble and custard.
Fantastic. Sounds ideal. The only thing I'd swap is, as a vegetarian, I wouldn't want the beef.
And roast beef.
Likewise, with your salmon, I can picture how lovely it would be, but I just don't like meat and fish. So the salmon wouldn't hold any interest to me.
Shrimp, not salmon.
Oh, sorry.
Shrimp, but they're still fish. So yeah.
See, says the vegetarian. I can't tell a shrimp and a salmon apart. Anyway. Okay. So next question for me.
So my next question is, how do you respond when something you've been really excited about doesn't meet your expectation?
Ooh, okay. I'm just typing that in. Being excited about doesn't meet your expectations. Oh, can't spell. There we go. All right. Sorry for the delay, folks. Just trying to get the technology to work. Okay. Wow. That's a really interesting one. Because I'd like to think that I wouldn't take it too terribly. Because, I'm quite a positive person. I'm glass half full. But I think that's difficult, because if you've been excited about something, it's the anticipation of it, isn't it? So in just the same way that anticipation of an event you don't want is usually the worst bit, the anticipation for an event you're excited about can just be off the charts, can't it? Because you're excited and you've got all those emotions thinking about how much you're going to enjoy yourself. So if it then falls flat, that's going to potentially be quite difficult. I'm trying to rack my brains for a situation where I've been in that scenario and had that happen. And I can't really think of anything.
Shall I give you an example?
Yes, please do.
Topical. So when I booked my flight, you have the opportunity to bid for an upgrade. Okay. So you can bid a small amount or a bigger amount to upgrade your seat. And I've done it a few times, and I've never been successful in my bid until yesterday. And I got an email from the airline, who shall at this point remain nameless, right, to protect the innocent. And they told me that I had been my bid had been successful, and I had been upgraded from standard coach to economy delight, they call it. Okay. Interesting. So I was very excited about that. And obviously you go to the premium check-in, which is very marvelous. Drop your bags off, and it's all very exciting. And you get to get on board the flight, earlier than a few other people. But the airplane's not going without you, is it? So that doesn't really bother me. But anyway, And when I got on, I thought, well, this is going to be really exciting, because I'm going to have a bigger seat, a broader seat, more leg room. And it didn't look any different. And my friend who I was traveling with said, "Oh, I'm only 3 rows behind you." She said, "Do you think they've actually forgotten to upgrade you?" And so we looked at her seat, we looked at my seat, and they looked exactly the same. And there didn't appear to be any difference whatsoever. Okay. And it sounds a bit, so it wasn't uncomfortable, it was perfectly adequate. I have not got the longest legs in the world, so maybe I wouldn't have noticed if there was 3 inches more leg room, because it isn't really a big deal for me. Anyway, we asked one of the cabin crew if this was it, and they went, "Absolutely, yeah, this is it." And I said, "Well, what is it?" Because I was really excited about it. And they said, "Oh, well, there's a bit more leg room." And I said, "But they're in rows with other so 2 rows back. It's the same leg room. So I think it's just an optical illusion. So I think it's a bit dodgy." So I was really disappointed, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with the service. The crew were fabulous. It was a fine flight, but it was just that thing where I thought, oh, I feel like I've my bid. Which obviously wasn't huge, but it was still, money. I thought, I feel like it didn't meet the promised, the delight wasn't delivered.
Felt a bit shortchanged, I imagine.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I won't be doing that again. So there you go.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I must have been in situations where things have not met my expectations, but other than going to the cinema and seeing a film that turned out to be not as good as you hoped it might be, I can't think of one right now. But maybe I should ponder on that. Maybe I should do some journaling about it, because I think that's an interesting one to consider how I will have reacted. Particularly bearing in mind that I would like to think I would react in a positive way. However, disappointment is disappointment. So interesting one.
I guess you can be angry, can't you? I wasn't angry. I was disappointed in a bit, and you just feel a bit let down. But I think the danger of that is, so the next time somebody offers you that, you kind of, would you trust them? Should I have asked for more details before I had, just got excited about being upgraded? All of those things. So I wasn't blaming anybody. I just thought it was an interesting perspective, because disappointed is a it's a saggy word, isn't it? Disappointed.
Yeah.
You just kind of sag. Everything sags a bit.
Oh dear, love it.
So we would be really interested in
Yeah,
people's feedback about how
definitely.
do you respond if things, when you've been excited about something. We'd love to hear what people, what actually happens to you. No judgment here either.
Absolutely. And as always, we'd love to have your questions as well for future shows. We'd love to know what you want to hear. So my last question, which I'm going to change on the spot, because my last question was going to be, do you like hot weather? But we've kind of covered sunshine, haven't we? So
Yeah.
I'm going to change it, a topical one, because my husband and eldest daughter have just spent the weekend in Oslo in Norway. So my random question, would you jump off a ski jump?
No.
Very simple answer. For anyone that doesn't know, it's a topical question because there is a ski jump in Oslo. But please carry on, Jenny.
So I have been skiing, and I practiced on a dry ski slope before I went.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things, because I have quite a low centre of gravity, being short. Yeah. I thought I would be better at skiing than I was. And I think that you can get in your own way, can't you? Because learning a new skill, particularly when it's potentially dangerous, has risk attached to it. Let's put it that way, not dangerous. Yes. Has risk attached to it. I just thought this isn't fun. I don't want to break things. So I wanted to be in the nursery class with the little children who were all roped together.
Yeah.
So the thought of a ski, I'm not great with heights.
Yeah.
And one of the things that worried me was the edges of mountains. So jumping off a ski jump, I think I'm full of admiration for Eddie the Eagle and other people who do that. But I have no desire to try it myself. I really think it's amazing for people who want to do it. Yes. Did they do it?
Well, no, because obviously it's nice weather at the moment, so there's no snow, but you can go and visit and you can climb up it and all this sort of thing. And see, we're a skiing family. I've skied right from a top, and we're a skiing family. So that sort of thing I find really interesting. We'll watch things like Ski Sunday, and whether it's the downhill or ski jump or
I love watching it from
Olympics, all that stuff.
From the security of my sofa under a blanket. My sons are all very good skiers. In fact, the ski instructor when we were there, because my eldest son hadn't been skiing before, so the younger two were good. And in fact, my middle one is a ski instructor. He did that after he left school, but while he's deciding what he wanted to do. So he's a fabulous skier, and a really good teacher. But the instructor who was teaching Philip and I couldn't believe we were related.
Brilliant.
Because I was so bad. Different ways of learning, different ways, different learning styles.
Absolutely. Yeah. But despite loving skiing, I don't think I'd jump off a ski jump. I don't like the feeling of falling. I don't think I have a huge phobia about it, but there's a lot of fear there, definitely, about falling. And I've conquered some of that fear, and I'll go on some roller coasters now that I wouldn't have gone on before. But the thought of free fall off a ski jump, nah. No, thank you.
I hold the coats at roller coasters. I'm not a roller coaster person, so I hold the coats. Yeah, no.
Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Brilliant. And actually, that's really funny. So my last question, and again, because I've been spending time in the company of small children the last couple of weeks, and we were discussing at Archie's party what your favourite childhood toy was.
Ooh. What's your favourite childhood toy? again. Just need to get better at typing and speaking at the same time. What's your favourite childhood toy? The first toy that comes to mind is Margaret Rose, my very special dolly. Obviously, she was named after Princess Margaret.
Princess
she was
Margaret,
Rose, wasn't she? She was I've still got her. She's a very, very posh dolly. She's quite large. Had beautiful blonde hair that you could, brush and style, and quite, I suppose, a bit of a old-fashioned, almost sailor type outfit of a dress, and like a sort of not a cape, not a proper cape like with arms or that comes down further, but it literally sort of came down as far as here. Do you know what I mean? And then went round the back as well. And it was navy blue corduroy with pink piping. And I just thought she was the best thing since sliced bread. And she's as old as me. She's my first toy, I believe. The first thing, well, other than the jingly ball that my brother kind of threw at me the day I was born. I think Margaret Rose was a birth present, so is as old as me. And she was definitely, I mean, I still do love her. I can't help it. She was a definite favourite.
I think so. Mine were very. I had a dolly who I thought was amazing because she was two dolls in one. So she had a.
I had one of those. It was a funny habit though.
So she had I think she was a blonde Dutch girl at one end.
Yeah.
So she had a Dutch, kind of white cap.
Yeah.
And an apron, and then when you pull the skirt the other way at the other end, she was an African lady, and she had this fantastic turban, on her head, and the rich colours of Africa, and because I was born in Africa, and I loved that, but I also loved. Do you remember everybody? I think everybody had one. The cart that had the bricks in, and they were wooden. Yes. It was a wooden cart, and it had a red handle, and you'd push this brick, and there were bricks in, and they were primary colours. And I loved that. And I think every child had one, and they were great because you could build all sorts of stuff with the bricks, couldn't you? They could be used for all sorts of things that probably they weren't intended to be used for. You could design all sorts of things, and I loved that. And I think probably at the time, certainly when I was little, toys were often quite gender specific.
Yes, yeah.
And I know that when I had my sons, I was determined that they wouldn't have gender specific toys. They had hoovers, and they had an outside mud kitchen.
There should be a bit of everything. Absolutely.
Yeah, a bit of you could they were just things, just interesting things to play with. So yes, we were talking about the kind of toys and how much fun you can have with a box.
Yes. Oh God. And isn't that always the case? And that seems to be across the generations. Give a kid an empty box, happy as a pig in Wotsits. Never fails. Right. Well, I think that's us at the end of our questions. So the end of another Renny show. I hope you've all enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. We will happily answer them for you, or indeed any comments about anything that we've talked about, any reflections that it might have brought up for you. We'd love to know. And we will return. Next time we'll be properly live again on the 28th of June. Same time, same place.
And it will be joyous to see you then, Rachel. But I shall also very excited to see you tomorrow.
Yes, I'm looking forward to a big hug, Jenny.
Oh, yeah. Very excited to see you tomorrow. And we will look forward to getting feedback from you all. Hope you've enjoyed our chat. And we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time.
Fabulous. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.